Hey y'all, we're gonna get into this review of Married2Medicine, Season 10, Episode 2, titled Heard It Through the Grapevine. And if you enjoy this review, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. So they start off with Heavenly doing yoga and her little wig fall off. And then Dr. Simone is talking with her patient. And then Toya is taking her kids to school, and one of the sons is talking to his girlfriend on the phone or whatever. Um, and then now we're with Phaedra, and Quad shows up to Phaedra's house, and they greet each other very warmingly with a twerk session at the front door, as everyone should. And then in her confessional, Quad says that she met Phaedra through Dr. G, and that it's always so much fun hanging around her. And then they catch up a little bit, and Phaedra says, "Yeah, I seen you in South Africa and going here, this, that, and the third. You've been in South Africa a lot." And then she was like, "Yeah, because I seen you with some new fellow, with some new man." And Quad says, "Yeah, I am dating." And then in her confessional, Quad says that she's dating this fine man. Um, and then they show a clip of her introducing him to some people, but they don't show who she introduced him to. And then the producers ask her what his name is. And she's like, he's a gentleman friend. That's all y'all need to know. Like, pipe down. Because, as soon as the producers or some shit get a hold of it, it's done. But he do got a nice smile, I say that. And then Quad asks Phaedra for some water. And Phaedra's extra ass calls her butler Benji, and he is a young thing, honey, probably like in his mid-20s. And they was drooling over him a little bit. My thing is if men can have a nice little maid, why can't Phaedra have a cute little butler? Period. But then Quad says that he might be a little too young for her, but he is fine. And he looks back as he's leaving, and they both laugh or whatever. But he was cute. Can't lie, he was cute. Um, And then Quad asked Phaedra, like, what's been going on with the girls? And Phaedra was like, well, why haven't you been hanging around the girls? And Quad said that she had to take a step back. And then they show a clip from the last reunion of Toya telling Quad that she never brought up Quad sleeping with the contractor. And Quad was like, yeah, you did. And that she told all of them basically to stop the BS. And then Heavenly was like, in all honesty, it was just a joke. She never believed that Quad was sleeping with the contractor. And now it makes sense why Quad's not talking to Heavenly, and Heavenly just keeps saying, what's up with Quad? What's up with Quad? Where she don't want to talk to you, honey. I heard the reunions, y'all cut off. And then they talk about how Dr. G met Letitia and how she slid his DMs, and how Dr. G is 23 years older than Letitia. And I'm gonna call her Letitia because they're gonna keep calling her Sweet Tea, but no, because something about that don't feel or seem sweet in my opinion. And then Phaedra tells Quad how Toya and Letitia are very close, and Quad was like, well, that doesn't really surprise her or shock her one bit, and she can't tell you why Toya hates her, but she does. And then Quad says that Toya is off the table, like she's not even trying with her, and it ain't no need and keep trying. And then Phaedra says, well, Toya keep putting shit on the table, and Quad was like, so what are people saying now? And Phaedra says, they saying that you got a DUI. And Quad says, oh, well, she was cited and she declined the field test, and then she talked to her lawyer, and the whole thing's over with. Just finito. And then in her confessional, Quad says for Toya to say all of that stuff in front of the group is classic Toya, and that she has a personal vendetta when it comes to her. And then Quad tells Phaedra that there are a couple girls who just don't like her, and that's okay. But Heavenly took her aback because she's always like, oh, well, we're sisters or shit. And yet, they get into it, but they usually get over it. This is what Quad is saying about she and Heavenly. And then Phaedra says that Heavenly made it seem like Quad deserted her. And Quad says, well, has Heavenly checked up on me? Like, the phone worked two ways, both ways, basically. And in her confessional, Phaedra says that. She says she understands why Quad is upset, but the phone works both ways. I'm not going to call somebody who was joking about me sleeping with a contractor. No, fuck you. What are you talking about? Um, and then Quad shows Phaedra this picture that Heavenly sent her of Heavenly with Letitia, and the caption saying having brunch with a new friend. And Quad says that disturbed her because Heavenly calls her sister, but now she's out with the new girl. And Quad says, so how did I desert Heavenly when you out here hanging with a new bitch? Basically. And then Phaedra says that the general consensus is that Quad separates herself, and that Quad is like, well, Heavenly is trying to say that she doesn't want me around anymore, or what? Like what's going on? And then they kind of just end that scene. And now we're with Sweet Tea, Letitia, and she making dinner for her and Dr. G, and he comes home and they chat about his day. And when they introduce her, they say Sweet Tea's house. And I noticed, like, do y'all notice that they keep doing that? Like, is that not Gregory's house? First, y'all said it was Quad's house. Now you're saying it's Sweet Tea's house. Now I get it's Quad's house. She's the woman of the house. She's the wife because it's basically her. She take care of it, right? But Sweet Tea is not the wife yet. So, anyway, in her confessional, Letitia says that she works from home as a program coordinator for the government, and it's flexible and she loves it. And she says that she has a great man who relies on her and her cooking in so many words, so she need to be home for her man. And then she tells Dr. G that they need to chat about the wedding planning. And Gregory says that all the hard work that he's been putting into the wedding, and she's like, you're just paying for it. And he's like, well, that's the majority of it. She's like, well, I'm helping too, so stop playing. And he's like, yeah, well, what is your percentage versus my percentage? And I'm just like, do all men nickel and dime? Can somebody let me know? Is that a thing that they do? Do all men nickel and dime? Because that's not sexy. But in his confessional, Dr. G says funding the wedding played more in his strengths and planning it played more in hers. And then Letitia says that she wants to let him know that she's doing a lot and she's overwhelmed. And Gregory tells her that this wedding wasn't supposed to be anything stressful, and that basically he pre-planned and pre-planned and pre-planned to ensure that this shit would not be stressful. So he's like, how did it get like that? And he says he's sorry, but he's not really supposed to be hearing shit about nothing about the wedding. He don't understand. Yeah, you've been married once before, Dr. G, but this is her first time. She's trying to go all out. My bad, you two. She's trying to go all out. So don't not too much on her, okay? And she's my age, like not exactly my age, but I'm 23 years, right? My whole lifespan is the gap of how far they are in age. So, yes, she needs help. Yes, she wants to go all out. And no, there's not going to be just no issues and he gonna wipe his hands with it. No, we gonna do something. Okay. And then Letitia says that, well, you are going to hear about what's going on because he needs to be more active, and he's like he doesn't know why he should be. And in her confessional, Letitia says that they have about a month before the wedding, and that she still needs to get her dress and to ensure that Gregory does all his shit too. So, she need help. And then Letitia tells Gregory that she's going to turn into a bridezilla soon. How don't you have your dress a month before you're about to get married? That's not making sense to me. That's what I'm saying. Like, where did y'all find her? They got her out to the wolves. Mm-mm. But in her confessional, Letitia says that it's so much on her plate and she just needs him to help with something. And she tells him that she wants everything to be perfect. And he says that the most important thing is the wedding and that they together. Blah, blah, blah. She knows that she got to show out for these bitches on this show. So Gregory, please stop trying to act like you don't understand. Okay? You figured out enough with Quad, right? But now we're with Dr. Jackie, and she's chatting with one of her other doctors, Dr. Buller, it might have been something like that, about how the brat is coming in for her appointment today and it's going to be a full day, um, and that she will have to deliver the baby soon. And in her confessional, Dr. Jackie says that she decided last year she will end her work days earlier, around 2 p.m., to basically have more time back to herself and not being at work all day. And they showed the clip of her getting home to her husband, and he's like, "Oh, what you doing here all early? Like, to get away from your ass." Like, that's probably why she was always at work, to get away from you. But then Dr. Jackie checks on Brad and Judy, and in her confessional, Dr. Jackie says that she's been taking care of Brad and Judy since they found out about expecting, and that Brad getting pregnant at 48, even on IVF, is still a miracle. I had no idea that she was almost 50. Like, modern technology, modern medicine is wild. But Dr. Jackie says that it can be dangerous for Brad, and she's susceptible to all these things like preeclampsia, and also how Black women die at a higher rate during childbirth, so they have to keep a very close eye on her, which is true. Y'all better talk about it. But then now we're with Toya, and she's at her house, and she's on FaceTime with Letitia, and she asks her if she knows about her wine club, and Letitia says, no. You can just tell that they just trying to hold Letitia on as somebody. And I guess Toya works because they basically look alike, but mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't know who's messier, Heavenly or Toya. Heavenly is up front with her mess. Toya, she be trying to fake it. But in her confessional, Toya says that she is the CEO of Toya's Wine Club, and she's about to launch it, and tells Letitia that she wants to introduce her to the ladies. And then Eugene comes into the room, and he's like, "Well, how about y'all chop it up later, because I need to talk to my wife." And they get off the phone, and Toya and Eugene ask each other about their days, and Toya don't really seem to care too much about Eugene and his day. And she asks him, like, point blank, what are we going to do about their sons, because they are becoming young men, if you understand what I'm saying, okay? Um, and then she tells Eugene that the boys said that he was watching Playboy. And then they cut back to a clip of when she was taking them to school, and one of the sons said that on the Apple TV, their dad said that they was watching something about Playboy. And Eugene's like, no, there was a documentary about Hugh Hefner and Playboy. And Latoya says it's just the fact that it was even intriguing enough to the sons is a problem. And she said in her confessional that their sons are typical boys who like girls. And Eugene says that he thinks that the boys know more than they give him credit for. And then he tells Toya that he thinks he's ready to have a talk with them. And she's like, "What, for real, right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, why not?" And he was like, they have a mouth that's unfiltered like their mother, so they don't hold back. And Toya's like, "Yeah, because I love it." And then the sun's come down, and they have the talk. And I'm not gonna lie, this is like the most unawkward sex talk, like the talk the birds and the bees talk I have ever seen, especially on TV. They was laughing and kikiing and just the normal shit. Now it might have been different if they was talking to girls, but maybe because it was boys, that's why it was so funny to me. But now we're with Letitia, and she and her friend are going to do her wedding dress shopping. And then Toya shows up, and I just kind of feel like they're gonna be an awful duo. Toya and Sweet Tea, I'm not feeling it. And then Phaedra shows up, and I thought she had invited them all to the dress, to try to find her dress, but it was just them two. And in her confessional, Letitia says that Toya is coming to help her with her dress shopping is big for her because she's like her big sister. And then says that Phaedra has been friends with Dr. G for so long, so she's just trying to make connections with his friends in his friend circle. And then Letitia tries on a few dresses, and then Phaedra is not feeling them at all. And she keeps telling the girl how she just don't got no butt. And in her confessional, Letitia says that she's not from Atlanta, where everybody is nipped, tucked, and sucked. It says that she's not fresh off of somebody's table like the rest of them. And I will agree, here, because everybody looks alike. everybody got the same body because they all going to the same doctors. Like you can't reduce so much when it comes to a prototype. It's like, all right, well, I'm just going to start making everybody look the same. So I get it. I get it. It's like Phaedra, look, you used to everybody having big fake butts or big real butts, but where Sweet Tea come from, they got normal bodies, okay? Normal butts matter. Small butts matter, y'all. Okay? Be nice. But then Toya asked Tisha's friend how they met, and the friend says that they met on a site for black women who date older men. And then both Toya and Phaedra are too stunned to speak. And then Phaedra says, "Oh, so y'all what they call sugar babies." And Letitia's trying to say, "No, we're not sugar babies." And she said that they call it an age gap relationship. And then Phaedra says, "Girl, that's what they call a sugar baby." But Letitia's still trying to deny it. And it is a sugar baby. You can be married, you can still be a married sugar baby, like it is what it is. But there's nothing wrong with that. And see, I feel like when it comes to the other women who are married, Toya, even Phaedra, who used to be married, Phaedra, Heavenly, Jackie, all of it, everybody except for Simone. I don't think Simone would be too judgmental, but all of them, it's like, well, why didn't we just get your man the natural way? Because it's not like how dating used to be back then. Okay, you gotta. Unfortunately, some people do something strange for a piece of change nowadays, okay? But it's nothing wrong with that. And if she want her older man, she want her older man. Because y'all might want y'all some younger dudes. Look at how Quad was looking at Phaedra's little butler. And Phaedra, don't look at Sweet Tea too crazy because you got a young ass butler over there. And I know he ain't just fetching, drinks, honey. So not too much. But in her confessional, Letitia says that she joined an age gap support group after her relationship with Gregory, and that it's not a sugar baby group. And then she says that when you're with an older man, a lot of women are going to judge you and give you funny looks and all that stuff. And she says she was at a bar one time and someone asked her if she was okay because she was with an older guy. And she says it can be embarrassing. Because it is embarrassing. Only if you allow it to be. Because, sometimes you just can't stare at the looks. I've only ever had one experience. You cannot pay attention to nobody else. As uncomfortable as you may feel, just pretend like they're not there because you have a goal at the end of the day, right? So, and Sweet Tea has a goal. And what is that goal? To get that ring. It's not all about love nowadays, y'all. Okay? But then Phaedra and Toya asked Letitia's friend how many old men she's dated. And she's like, I'm not going to tell you that. Like, a lady never tells. And then just they going back and forth in their confessionals, Toya and Phaedra. And they're like, she thinks a young woman with an older man might have a whole bunch of questions. Y'all only worried about sex. That is Toya's problem. Okay? She's only worried about sex. It's not all about that, honey. But in her confessional, Phaedra says that she isn't sure about dating older men because she isn't really a nurse. And that part made me laugh. That was funny. But now we're with Toya, and she's trying on a dress, and Eugene's helping her, and she says that this is a dress for her wine event, and she's going to be bringing the ladies together, and then to all try her wines. And then Eugene tells her not to get too frazzled when people try and keep her in a box, and that she knows that one of the ladies are going to just try and throw some jabs, basically. She was like, "You trying to say shade, Eugene?" She's like, "I know that. Like, he's trying to help you, honey, because whew." But then in her confessional, Toya says that it's very difficult to bring this wine venture of hers to the ladies because they will look at it like it's something that she should have been doing this whole time along with raising her kids. And then they show clips of the ladies clowning her basically for not having a job. And then in his confessional, Eugene tells her to be aware of shady comments and to rise above because she knows that they're going to be coming. And then they all get to the party, whatever, and she arrives at the venue, and the ladies get there, and Dr. Jackie says that she's excited to support Toya, but they know she don't drink. And I'm gonna just say this right now, because the drinks did come out. She was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna smell it." If she's gonna invite you to a wine thing, why would you go and not drink? And I know it's just a support, but it's literally a wine tasting. feel so out of place. I would feel so like, why am I here if I can't partake in what the whole party? I don't know. I don't know. That's just me. But in her confessional, Heavenly says that she doesn't know what Toya is trying to sell out here, but whatever it is selling, because basically she's saying Toya's outfit is a little too much because it kind of had a little butt crack thing in the back. Whatever. Heavenly just dressed like an old lady. Like that's not nobody else's fault. Like, anyways. Toya tries to explain why they're all there, and she's like, she's drifting a little bit in her conversation. And Heavenly's like, "Girl, you been drinking?" And she was like, "No, I ain't been drinking." And then Letitia says, "Toya and Phaedra, y'all weren't drifting off yesterday with the wedding dress shopping." And Phaedra was like, "Oh, I thought it went great." And Letitia says, "Nah, y'all were mean," and she felt like they were rude. And Toya was like, "Rude? What?" And then both Phaedra and Toya apologize to Letitia, and she says that maybe some of the things she said didn't come out the best. And Heavenly is looking at Letitia and says that somebody said that she was in therapy for dating older men or something like that. And both Phaedra and Toya's faces are like, why would you say that? Like, what? You know how out of nowhere Heavenly just be like, yeah, so I heard, and there's some out of pocket shit in the most random time. But Letitia was like, who said that? And then Phaedra says, no, I ain't say it like that. Heavenly asks, like, what exactly do they talk about in the group though? Like, what is it? And Letitia asks Heavenly if she wants to join. And Simone is excited for the clap back because, she cannot stand Heavenly. And Heavenly says, well, her husband is only 6 months older than her, so she's not sure if it will work. Girl, hush. She ate you up. She ate you up for a second. Just stop. And then in her confessional, Toya says that Heavenly is a wind-up doll, and she's coming at Letitia left and right, and it's giving Chucky vibes, and that she's just doing too much. And in her confessional, Letitia says that these ladies are Dr. G's friends, and she wants to be kind, but they are way out of touch, and that they are damn near her granny's age, and that they don't need to, that they need to get with the program. And then Dr. Alicia arrives, and then Simone asks Letitia if she felt anything else was offensive. And then Letitia says that she felt like they ganged up on her mentioning Quad at the engagement party, which I agree, because who the fuck wants to hear about the ex-wife when I'm about to be the new wife? And then Dr. Jackie apologizes, and then Letitia says that she's up to here with all of this bullshit. And she says that, yeah, it's a lot going on. And she says that she's irritable. And then Simone whispers that she's like, you came in a little feisty. You all right? You okay? And then Letitia shakes her head, and you can tell she's getting very emotional. She's starting to tear up. And then they both get up to go have a conversation. And Simone telling her, like, you got to take care of yourself. You got to relax. I know you want everything to be perfect. But if you want help in wedding planning, you should have married a woman. And let me see. And then Letitia says that she had a vision that he would be, more involved in stuff, and it's just not what it is. And then in her confessional, Simone says that she has empathy for Letitia because she really likes her, and she is an OG of the group, and she says that Heavenly is the toughest of them all, and says that this situation is like one of the Cinderella's stories, and Heavenly is the evil stepmother in so many words. And Simone asks Letitia to just give them a chance. She can't hang, y'all. She can't hang. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. She can't hang, and her skin is not thick enough to be with these ladies. And then Heavenly tells Phaedra that every time she looks at her, it reminds her of Quad, and she asks her what Quad is. And then Phaedra says, oh, she's been talking to her, she's good. And she told her she met Letitia, and Heavenly asked, like, oh, is she cool with that? And Phaedra was like, yeah, she said she's okay. And then Jackie says that she's going to say this again. She says that if she divorces her husband, that they can't be his friend. And I agree. Well, do I agree? I feel like y'all, I don't know. Actually, no, I don't think you can be friends because I feel the same way about Rashida from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Like, how can she be besties for lifers with Erica Dixon and she's still cool with Bambi, who was in a hot tub with her husband? So, no, Dr. Jackie, I get that. And then Alicia says that she feels the same way. You know, y'all can't be friends with the ex husband. And Dr. Jackie says that they haven't heard from Quad, so they don't know how to maneuver the situation with her. And in her confessional, Phaedra says that all she hears is that she don't know who said what, and she's like, you know, this isn't Nancy Drew, so if they're all going to get along, they need to hash it out and figure out what the real problem is. Phaedra, don't come on this show acting like they just all need to kumbaya, hun, because you don't know the mess that has been going on since before you got there. It's mess after mess after mess after mess. So they can't just do no kumbaya moment. And Dr. G is marrying somebody new. Oh, this is another power mess. Y'all gonna need a something to get up under there. And then they finally start the wine tasting. And again, I'm like, Jackie, why are you there if you're not gonna drink shit? And then they finish the tasting, and Letitia's like, she ready to go and get the fuck up out of here. And she like, she tired. And Heavenly is like, you know, she dates old man. How you tired? And she's like, I'm planning my wedding. And then when she get up, honey, oh child, when she get up, they see the price tag fall out of her dress, and they fall out laughing. They fall out. And I tell you, she not built for this because their eyes don't miss anything. Do you hear me? They don't miss anything. Letitia is not built for this. But in her confessional, Jackie says that Letitia just wanted to take the dress back and she gotta wait to get Big Daddy's money in order to keep the shit. And in her confessional, Toya says that Heavenly says that she's proud of her is a huge compliment, even if it is coming from a hater. And then Phaedra, hold up, there y'all. And then now we're with Phaedra, and she's meeting up with Dr. G, and they're catching up a little bit. And she's like, wow, so you really want to get married again? And Gregory's like, yeah, you know, I'm ready. And Phaedra asks if he isn't afraid, and he's like, what is there to be afraid of? And then in her confessional, Phaedra says that she's known Dr. G for almost 20 years, and that she wants to make sure he's confident in his decision to marry Letitia because she's made some interesting comments. And even though she seems like a good girl, she wants to make sure that she isn't a wolf in sheep's clothing. And then Phaedra tells Gregory that it won't be perfect, but they have to have the same kind of thinking and mindset because she is so much younger. And then Dr. G says that the age was a problem for him because he wasn't sure if he was the predator or if he was the prey. And that Letitia pursued him, and that he was as that she pursued him, right? And he says that he loves being with her because she gives him a feeling of safety that Quad didn't give him, that he didn't have with her. And then Phaedra asks him if Quad made him scared. And Dr. G says, yeah, you know, she did make him scared. And Phaedra says, wow, like it's kind of hard to hear that. And then Gregory says that in marriage, always knowing that someone is your friend is important. And then Phaedra asks if he got a prenup. And he kind of tips on like, he ain't saying nothing for a bit. And then he said, so you telling me you don't trust her? That's what he said to Phaedra. And Phaedra was like, I don't trust people in general, and you know that. And then Gregory says that he hasn't gotten it yet, and that Letitia is open to it, and says that Phaedra is the lawyer, so, you know, what should he do? And in her confessional, Phaedra says that in this marriage, Dr. G definitely has the bigger bank account, and she wishes that Letitia really loves Gregory for him and not for what she could possibly get out of a relationship. Somebody's always trying to look to get something out of a relationship, honey. It is what it is. And then Phaedra tells Dr. G that personally she doesn't know if she would ever get married again. And Gregory says that she sounds cynical, but that the direction that he and Letitia are moving in is good, and that she wants kids and all of that good stuff, and that he's ready for it. And then Phaedra, and in her confessional, Phaedra says that she hasn't seen Dr. Jeeves happy in years, and that Letitia is giving him a new lease on life, and hopefully that he can give her, that she can give him an heir, give him that baby, because if she can do that, then she's good as gold in so many words. Because I guess that's just all that man wants is a damn baby. Okay. But if y'all enjoyed this review, because that was it. If y'all enjoyed this review, make sure y'all like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one. And make sure y'all enjoy the most recent episode that's coming up tonight of Married to Medicine. I'm going to see y'all later. Bye, y'all.